In this lesson, we're going to look at just doing a script or a bit of coding. Now, this part always terrifies my students because they see coding as this massive challenge. So we're going to do it just in a tiny, tiny snippet, okay? And we're going to leave it at that. So nothing to fear. We're going to keep this very, very simple. So in this lesson then, we're going to look at creating our first GDScript, which is the built-in language for GoDot, which is very, very similar to Python. We're going to look at using that script to link the buttons on our master page to their respective scenes, and then we're going to test the buttons, and that'll be it. So keeping it very, very simple. So here we are in GoDot. So from GoDot, what we really need to look at is the master scene. So let's just open up the master scene by double clicking on it, and it will bring itself up here. I'm just going to close the home scene for the moment, just to kind of keep this very, very simple. So we have a bunch of buttons on here. We have 4. We have this home button, we have houses, we have holidays, and we have cars. Now all of these buttons need to go to their respective scene. So we have our cars scene, we have our holiday scene, home scene, and houses scene. So when we are playing through the app and we click on it, it goes off to that scene. So to do this, the easiest way is just to create a very, very simple script. So what we're going to do then, we're going to click on our master slide. So the script, you could set a script up for each of these buttons, and that would be absolutely fine. It's exactly the same principle, but you just set it up for each button. But instead, we're just going to set all 4 buttons up on this master slide. Keep it really, really simple. Just one script does everything. So in order to create a script on this node, we need to click on this script button, and what that'll do is it will assign it to this node. So let's click on the script button. We're working in the language GDScript. You have a couple of other ones here, but let's just keep it simple and let's just work from GDScript, which is very similar to Python, which is a fantastic and easy to learn language. And then we're going to make sure it goes into this pathway. So this is just the root path. So it's going to populate itself here. You can set up a folder for all your scripts. If you're going to have loads of scripts, you definitely want to set up a folder. But for this, we're keeping it simple and we're just going to put it on this area here. So then we're going to press create. Once we press create, you'll notice that it's switched over to the scripts scene rather than the 2D. To get back, we just click on the 2D button. To get back to our scripts, we click on this. Because we've only got one script, you'll see it's just here and that's it. Nice and simple. Now, all of this information, all this gobbledygook, is just placeholder text to kind of tell you what you can have in these areas. For this, we need very, very little. Like I say, we're keeping this as simple as possible. So we're going to start by creating what's called a signal. We're going to link this to this using a signal. In order to create a signal, we first need to click on the button that we want and then come down to this node area and select signals, because sometimes it's on groups, and then we're going to go down to the most appropriate signal. So the most appropriate signal for what we want is this one that says pressed. So just double click, make sure it's assigning itself to the home, so we know we're on the master slide, we know we're assigning ourselves to the home, we know where the path is, everything else is absolutely fine, we don't need to do anything else, and then we press connect. So when we come back here, it's saying exactly what our function is, and what we're going to do is we're going to write a piece of code in here. Before we do that, we need to know that we need 3 more of these, so we're going to set up all 4 of the functions first and then come back. Notice that we are indented from the original. That's really important. You'll get lots of breaks if you're not indented. If you want to know if you've got the right indent, just double click backspace, so you're back at this point, and then press enter. And it does it automatically. Because of this colon, it creates the indent where you want it to. If you need further indents in future, you can just press the tab button, and that will do also, but we just want that indent there. So let's create another couple of spaces and let's do the same thing. So we need to unindent this for the next one, so we need to be on this root level because we're going to create another function. This time we're going to do it on this houses button. So we click the houses, we click nodes and then signals, and then we come down to the most appropriate one again, which is this pressed function. So double click, make sure it's set up to houses, and it is, and then press connect. Nice and simple. Once again, we do need a space in the middle there. So there's 2 of them all set up. Let's get rid of some of these spaces. Let's do the next one. So the next one we need is going to be holidays. So once again, we've unindented it, so we're on this area here. We're going to come down to holidays, click nodes, click signals, and then double click on pressed. Make sure it's coming down to this holiday scene, and then press connect. Once again, let's just create a space, and we just need one more. So the next one we need, unindent, is cars. So select cars, select node, select signals, and then press, double click. Make sure it's on cars and then press connect. So that was fairly painless, and I hope you agree with that. So now we just need to populate it, and we're just going to populate each of these functions with one line of code. That's it, nothing more complex than that. So the code that we're going to do is we're going to identify the tree that we want, and then, so the tree is this area here, and then we want to say, by clicking on this member of the tree, we want to go off to another scene. So it's a bit of a weird terminology, but just bear with me. So we're going to say get, and then it comes up with this. So the one we want is get_tree. When you click it once, it does move, which is a bit of a pain. So let's just click it again, or double click, and then we get this get_tree. You can write that as well if you want to, and then you get the brackets. The next thing we need is a dot. So the dot says what do we want to get. So we want to say, we want to change scene at this point. So we say change, and start clicking, and we get this change scene, double click, and then we've got change_scene. Now we need speech marks, and then close the bracket, and that is our full code. Inside of this change scene, we do need to tell it what scene we're going to change it to, but before we do that, let's just copy and paste that. So we only have to write it once. So Control C, put it indented, remember, and then Control V, and then let's do that again, Control V, and then Control V. So each button is identical apart from the path that we're going to choose for it. So this is the home button. So let's come over here and select the home. Now if we right click on it, we can actually say copy path. And it's that copy path that needs to go inside of those two speech marks. So Control V, and there we go. So there's the folder and there's the button. And let's do the same with house. So come over to here, right click, copy path, and inside of those two speech marks, Control V, and there's the house. Let's do the same with holidays. So let's find the holidays, right click, copy path, and let's just place it inside of there, Control V. Nice and easy. Final one is cars. So coming up to the cars one, right click, copy path, and then put cars in there. Now before we do anything, let's just save everything. So let's come up to the scenes and let's save scenes. And what that'll do, that'll take the asterisks off of here so you can see that it's all been saved. Let's head back over to the 2D menu. We're currently on this master slide. So let's open up our home slide. And you won't see anything's changed just yet, but everything has been saved, which is good. So we're going to press this play button, and all being well, it will work and our navigation will be perfect. So let's try the home one. Now, surprise, surprise, when we click on home, nothing happens. Currently, it's not set up. So let's click on the houses one, and voila, it takes us over to houses. Now let's try home again, and it takes us back to the home. Now let's try the holidays, and it takes us to the holiday page, and let's try the cars, and it takes us to the car page. So as you can see, our navigation works, and we are happy, and we can move on to kind of just making it a bit more interesting. So get that completed, and I'll see you in the next part.